Welcome to Stamina and Agility Training for Boxing. We are Auke Rinsma and Anilina Dimitrova. We are sports students at the Hanze University of Applied Sciences. We made this video for our class, Sports and Innovation. In this video, we will explain the science behind stamina and agility training for boxers from 20 to 30 years old. We searched PubMed, Google Scholar and the Hanze Library for any keywords combination containing boxing, endurance, stamina, training, methods, etc. We also held an interview with an experienced boxing coach. We will start with explaining the recommended amount of exercise time for each week. Then we will talk about endurance and agility training. We will discuss how endurance training works and which sport-specific endurance exercises you can do for boxing. The target group. Some young adults are just starting out in life and they may be immersed in a college experience. Others may have already graduated and may now be buying a home, a car or other large item for the first time. What they have in common is that they do not have much free time. To promote and maintain health, all healthy adults aged 18 to 65 need moderate intensity aerobic physical activity for a minimum of 30 minutes on 5 days each week, of vigorous intensity aerobic physical activity for a minimum of 20 minutes on 3 days each week. To take into account the busy lifestyle of the 20 to 30-year-olds, we recommend doing vigorous endurance training for at least 20 minutes 3 times each week. So how does endurance training work? Before going deeper into the boxing field, let's first see what agility and stamina training is. Training for functional agility involves the ability to change body position on the field, or course of play, and/or avoid obstacles rapidly and accurately without losing balance. On the other hand, stamina in endurance sports is the ability, both physically and mentally, to keep performing for a longer period of time. Stamina is a measure of resistance to fatigue during prolonged duration. When trying to improve stamina, you will have to build up slowly, according to a big part of the journals written for sport. Stamina and agility training can be almost the same for a big part of the sports. When doing this type of training, it is more likely for amateur boxers to be in the third heart rate zone. This training is done at 75 to 80% of maximum heart rate for a long period of time. If your heart rate is too high, you're straining, slow your roll. If it's too low and the intensity feels light to moderate, you may want to push yourself to exercise a little bit harder, especially if you're trying to lose weight. If you're just starting out, aim for the lower range of your target zone, 50%, and gradually build up. In time, you'll be able to exercise comfortably at up to 85% of your maximum heart rate. Now let's get back to boxing. Aerobic and anaerobic stamina are equally important for every boxer. His or her reflexes require a high level of adaptation in order to assess the dynamic changes in distance to be capable of throwing and optimally landing a punch, just as well as being capable of not being hit by the opponent's punches. As a boxer gets tired, they have a harder time dodging and throwing punches. They have to be in peak condition throughout the rounds if they want to stay competitive. In boxers, fighters compete for either 2 or 3 minutes, then take 30 to 60 seconds break before the next round. To help boxers build up sport-specific stamina, we recommend for boxers to work for 2 to 3 minutes, then rest for 1 minute, repeating the cycle for 3 to 10 times. Running for boxers. Running is one of the most well-known endurance activities. Many boxers do long-distance running for 30 to 45 minutes at a constant pace. This helps improve endurance, but isn't as good as sprinting and resting. Boxers need to build up sport-specific stamina, so they should run for 2 or 3 minutes at a time and then rest. Sprints are sport-specific to boxing because they alternate work and rest, simulating a boxing match where there is rest in between rounds. When the bell rings and the fight resumes, the sport is fast-paced and they have to push their bodies to the limit, just like you would in a sprint. An 800-meter sprint takes about 2 or 3 minutes, which means that it is a good place for boxers to start. You can sprint, rest 1 minute, and then repeat for as many rounds as you want. Jumping rope. Jumping rope is also very specific to boxing, because you're constantly bouncing on your feet. It's important to stay light on your feet in the ring so that you can react to whatever your opponent does. With all the bouncing around that boxers do, it's important to condition your legs and calves so that they don't get tired. There's also a lot of shoulder muscle endurance required to jump rope for 2 or 3 minutes at a time. Boxers need to condition their shoulders so that they can keep punching hard. Like running, jump roping also works your lungs and heart to give you better overall endurance. Pick up the pace with your jump roping to make it more or less intense. The tennis ball game. Two boxers stand in front of the wall in a parallel stance, both facing the wall. One of them is close to the wall, approximately 1 meter distance. The other boxer stays approximately 1.5 meters behind the first boxer. The one close to the wall is standing in boxing stance. The boxer standing behind the other throws the tennis ball to the wall, and the first boxer is supposed to catch the tennis ball with a movement similar to jab or cross, optimally using his peripheral vision and not looking at the ball while catching it. Heavy back punches. Heavy back punches are one of the most sport-specific things you can do for boxing. Move around the bag, punching it and dodging fake punches for 2 or 3 minutes. You can throw combinations of punches and then move to simulate a fight. Your punching stamina will quickly improve if you hit a heavy bag, because it's much more massive and difficult to move than an opponent. Resistance band boxing. Another sport-specific way to improve endurance. Perform combinations of punches while holding the resistance band, while jumping around. This will help increase your boxing endurance. The speed ladder. The boxer begins in frontal boxing, double hand guard stance at the beginning of the agility ladder. Left leg is inside the first square of the ladder. The right leg is outside the ladder at the same level as the left leg, which is inside the ladder. Boxer begins the movement with slight shifting of the weight to the right leg, staying outside the ladder to unweigh the left leg inside the ladder. The shoulder tag game. A group of boxers create pairs and start a round in which the objective is to tag the partner's shoulder, while the partner is trying to tag the shoulder of the first boxer. The boxers move in their boxing guards and stances, as if in a boxing match. Blocking, parrying, or covering is forbidden. Boxers are trying not to get tagged via slipping or footwork, or ducking or weaving or dodging. Conclusion. For all of the exercises, we recommend that you follow the general rule of training for 2 to 3 minutes and then resting for 30 to 60 seconds to build up sport-specific stamina for boxing. Try to repeat each set for 3 to 10 times. Try to exercise at least 20 minutes 3 times a week to stay healthy. All of the above exercises will help you build sport-specific stamina for boxing, as well as increase your anaerobic power. That concludes this video. Thank you for watching and good luck with your boxing training.